Hi friends, it's Kim, and today we're diving into a question that says a lot more about society than it does about skincare. Why don't men wear makeup? And why is makeup still seen as something women should do, even when we think it's a personal choice? No, let me say this right up front. This video is for everyone. Makeup should always be a choice. Anyone of any gender should feel free to express themselves through beauty. But this conversation, it's especially for women. Because even when we think we're just doing what feels good for us, we often don't realize just how much we've been conditioned to believe that beauty is our responsibility. Let's take a walk through history to see where this all started and how we got here. So, in ancient Egypt, makeup wasn't gendered, it was sacred. Kohl eyeliner protected your eyes and symbolized divine connection. Both women and men wore red ochre on their lips, malachite green shadow on their lids, and perfumed oils on their skin. Makeup wasn't hiding flaws, it was honoring status and spirit. In ancient Greece and Rome, pale skin and scented oils were signs of wealth and refinement. And that went for men too. Cosmetics were about class, not gender. Modern parallel, think of high-end grooming for men now. Skin serums, $100 haircuts, curated ruggedness. But when the power shifted, so did the story. As Christianity took hold in medieval Europe, the church cast beauty as sinful. Makeup became linked to temptation. Women using cosmetics were portrayed as deceitful, vain, or even dangerous. Men stepped away from it to claim moral superiority. So the pattern began. Women were still expected to look appealing, but they had to pretend it was natural. And any effort to enhance their appearance was labeled shameful. That legacy lingers. How many of us still hear, "You look tired," or "You should put on a little lipstick"? Modern parallel, the pressure to look effortless, like you're aging beautifully, but without trying. And we're still walking that tightrope. The pendulum swung again in Elizabethan England. Both women and men wore makeup at court. Queen Elizabeth's iconic white face was coated in lead-based ceruse, and noblemen wore rouge and beauty patches. So looking unnatural was the point, because it meant you were elite. But again, makeup for men was a temporary fashion. For women, it was a standard. Even as men moved away from it in later eras, women kept being told, this is what you need to do to stay relevant. Stay youthful, and stay worthy. The French Revolution turned makeup into a liability. It symbolized privilege, and the elite paid the price. Men dropped makeup like a hot potato to appear serious and rational and aligned with the people. So, women, on the other hand, never got to drop it. By the 1800s, makeup was linked to immorality. Good women, quote unquote, didn't use cosmetics, but they were still expected to look fresh and modest and lovely. So guess what? Women used powders and rouges in secret. We were already learning how to self-edit, how to present without admitting the effort. Modern parallel? Filters and injectables. The quote, no makeup looks, pretending we woke up like this. In Victorian society, makeup was taboo for respectable women, but the expectation to look good never left. So they used arsenic-based complexion tonics, whitening creams, and lead powders, all in secret. Women literally risked their health to meet beauty standards they weren't even supposed to acknowledge. So that contradiction is still alive today. We're told we don't need to change a thing, but also that we could look just a little younger, a little smoother, a little brighter, if we just bought this one serum. And we do, because we've been taught to. So the beauty industry, it really exploded in the 20th century. Lipstick, foundation, mascara, all sold to us not just as tools for self-expression, but as a requirement, especially as motion pictures took off and suddenly there were matinee stars to emulate. Especially for women entering the workplace, you weren't just told to look good, you were told you looked unprofessional without it. By the 1950s, anti-aging products were booming. Youth became the gold standard. Wrinkles, gray hair, not allowed. And now we're bombarded by beauty content 24/7 on our feeds, in our ads, in the subtle ways that people praise or dismiss us based on our appearance. And here's the thing. A lot of women say, I just like makeup, or it makes me feel good. And that may be true, but if you started wearing it at 11 years old because someone said you looked prettier, or if you've been praised more when you wear it, or passed over maybe when you didn't, that's not just a choice. That's programming. And we don't shame anyone for what they choose, but it's worth asking, was this choice really mine, or was it sold to me? Did you grow up watching your mother or grandmother put on makeup every single day? Were you given your first lipstick as a reward, or maybe when you turned 13? Did someone tell you in junior high that you'd be prettier if you wore eyeliner? We're not here to judge. We're here to get curious, because asking questions is the first step toward reclaiming our own story. So why don't men wear makeup? They used to, but as society shaped beauty into an obligation and not a luxury, it became a woman's burden to carry, and we're still carrying it, unless we stop and say no more. You don't have to opt out of beauty, you just deserve the freedom to opt in. So thanks so much for being here. If this resonated, I hope you'll subscribe and join me again, because this conversation isn't just about makeup. It's about agency, and we're just getting started.